how do we really, how does it become what we want it to be, not what just market forces would make it? And so the first thought was we'd like it to be a really rich mix of uses, not a single use like jobs, but how do we combine jobs with living and working, with learning, with arts and culture, with healthy living? How do we bring all of those together in a yet to be defined zoning area, kind of mush them, technical term, mush them all together? And then how do we do that? And do that at a high intensity, high density level. How do we make this a place where we have up to 10,000 new units of housing, a really rich mix of affordable workforce, senior, we call alumni most of the time, a few of us anyway in that age category. But how do we bring all of that together and have that informed by arts and be a place that's equitable and inviting and diverse? So, in addition to that, the challenge would be to invite people here to do that. Who are the developers that would share that vision? We didn't think it was going to happen just because we did a report, because we did a model. We would have to find developers like the Walla companies, like Jeff Barnhart and his companies, to help us build that. Neighborhoods don't don't rebuild the city. City planning department doesn't rebuild the city. It depends on the partnership with developers. But we also looked up and down the avenue. Who's here right now? Who's here right now that's really important to what we're talking about? When we looked up and down University Avenue from 280, to the city line on our side, to the university, the one entity that really stood out was the Textile Center. Here was an arts organization that picked this location. They were thriving. They were bursting at their seams. Well, we didn't know that at the time. We went to them and said, what is it going to take to keep you here? We absolutely cannot lose you. You represent something that we're going to need more of. What's it going to take? So we, in the early stages of that thinking, Prospect Park 2020, hired an architect to help the Textile Center think about their future needs. Some programming was done, some possibilities were looked at. The big thing that came out of that period was the decision by the Textile Center that we want to stay here. This is a very important location. But to tell where things have gone from that initial thinking and those conversations, I want to introduce my friend and colleague, Karl Reichert, who is the executive director of the Textile Center, and have him tell you the story of who they are and what they're doing. Thanks, Karl.
Thank you, Dick. I think about the great neighborhoods of our cities, and you can usually point to that there's an arts center, an arts hub. There are artists who really help anchor that neighborhood. And I've spent most of my career in the arts. I've started my career at the Minnesota Orchestra and, of course, at Nicollet Mall. Orchestra Hall, starting in 1974, really anchored that south end of the mall. I worked in North Minneapolis for 8 years as the director of the Capri Theater, and my job there was to lead the Capri Theater Renaissance, and that was really leading a renaissance on West Broadway. And I'm really proud to say that the Capri Theater will soon break ground on an expansion, and that we can see how West Broadway is really starting to thrive. There are a lot of partners, but I think the arts really serve as a really key place or a key role in developing place. Textile Center, how many of you have been there? I just want to, okay, so many of you have been there. Great, thank you. So Textile Center we like to say that fiber art is really a world full of innovation and invention. And it is a small building, 12,500 square feet, right there on University Avenue at Prospect Park Station. But the number of visitors we have pass through every year is over 24,000 people, and we have such activity there that it is really quite a hub right here in Prospect Park. Our mission is to honor textile center traditions, or to honor textile traditions, promote excellence and innovation, and inspire widespread participation in fiber art. What is fiber art? A lot of people ask that question. Is using anything that's natural or synthetic fibers or techniques that are traditionally thought of as relating to fiber, such as sewing or weaving. So if it either has a fiber material or you're using a fiber technique, it's usually called fiber art. So you'll see that there'll be a lot of things made with wire mesh and so forth. Well, it's all based on those techniques. And one of our artists, one of my favorite artists, has said, we are in contact with textiles 24/7. From the clothes we wear to the beds we sleep in, what other kind of art has that constant presence in our daily lives? And Textile Center is a place that enables people to be inspired by remarkable artwork and artists, to explore creativity and culture in textiles, and to develop greater skill and understanding in the field. And most of all, to find a supportive community of textile art makers from beginning to advanced. Textile Center was incorporated in 1994. It's not a very old arts organization compared to many in our community, but in 2001, it moved to 3000 University Avenue, and it has been our home ever since. The selection of this part of why Prospect Park really came about because we have 30 affiliated guilds at Textile Center, from the Weavers Guild, who makes its home also at Textile Center, to Minnesota Quilters, Minnesota Needlework Guild, Minnesota Felt Makers. There are a lot of fiber artists in our community, and everyone wanted it to be more centrally located. The beauty of this area is that it's like at the hub of this wheel that is equal distance almost from someone coming from Maple Grove or Eagan, so that it was not favoring any one area of the metro, but it was really becoming a place that people could come into the city and work on fiber. An exciting thing about fiber art, I'll just say, is that a recent study done by Minnesota Compass, funded by the Wilder Foundation, has found that fiber art is the #1 art form for adult participation in Minnesota. 18% of all Minnesota adults pursue fiber art in some form. Think about it. If you're a quilter, if you do needlework, if you're a knitter, you do crochet, people really identify, and we're so proud that it is really considered the #1 art form. So we have over 1,000 members, and we are very proud of that. And among those 1,000 members, we actually have 75 members from Target's Product Design and Development Department. So when you walk into a Target store anywhere in the nation and you look at some textile there, chances are it was designed in downtown Minneapolis at the corporate headquarters. And we had a day about 3 years ago, we had a Textile Center Day at Target, and we got to see their Product Design and Development Department, and it was amazing. They hire textile artists from across the nation, bring them here to the Twin Cities, and they do the design, whether it's ready to wear, the clothing you see on the racks, to the home goods, from the bath towels to the shower curtains. It's really amazing to think that Minneapolis is where all this is happening, and we're really working to build that alliance with Target at Textile Center. So I mentioned all the guilds. I won't read them all off, but there are a lot. And I just wanted to run through very quickly our programs. We have exhibitions. We have 4 exhibition spaces, including the Joan Mondale Gallery. They're free and open to the public. If you stop by today or tomorrow, you're going to see Artists in the Kitchen. It was a collaboration we did with the women's chefs of the Twin Cities, and it's really a remarkable collaboration. We do adult classes, so we have from the beginner to the advanced. We actually do national classes where people will actually come to the Twin Cities to take classes, and the Green Line has become a real asset for us because if people are flying in, they can take the Blue Line to the Green Line, and with the Hampton Inn just basically 2 or 3 doors down, there's a place to stay right near Textile Center. We do youth education. We have a library with more than 30,000 books dedicated to textiles. We also have a dye lab where you can do state-of-the-art work with using dyes, surface design, and it's available to all our members. And we have a retail shop. So if you're walking by on University Avenue, pop in. We have more than 100 artists represented in our retail shop at any given time. It's a very small square footage footprint, but it has a powerful impact in supporting working artists. I have to say, we've even seen an increase now with Fresh Time opened. People from the neighborhood are saying, I've never really walked by before. So that's exciting news when you think about all the development going on in the neighborhood. So being that we're located in the heart of the Towerside Innovation District, this is really important to the future for Textile Center. I want to say that our board of directors right now is really exploring our next steps. As Dick alluded to, there was a study before my time. I've been at Textile Center 3.5 years, but we don't have enough space. So we're thinking about how do we really try to achieve the space needs that we have to accommodate that 18% of all Minnesota adults who are pursuing fiber. We want them coming to Textile Center, and we want to be able to offer all the programming that we can. So we're looking at opportunities for potential expansion on our current site, possible relocation within the neighborhood. All of this is under review right now. And the exciting piece of it all is that we really believe there's a need to really expand our presence in this neighborhood. And being in an innovation district is really exciting for us. You know, the fact that we're on the Green Line, it's no secret that when the Green Line was being constructed, it was a really hard time for businesses, Textile Center included. You know, there was a lot of people staying away because they thought, oh, all the mess, we don't want to go over that way, etc. But now today, we're really seeing the benefits of the Green Line. So with that, we think about Textile Center as kind of an anchor with its 30 guilds, with the Weavers Guild, and all the artists, the 1,000 artists plus who are affiliated with us, and we start to think about what would make this even better. What would make it even better is to attract even more arts organizations to this corridor, to the Towerside Innovation District. And so I believe that we can't work in isolation, that we're better together if we can bring more arts groups in and to really think about how to really make this a place where it becomes a destination for not only textile arts, but visual arts, performing arts, and that we really think about what is public art in this whole realm. How do we really incorporate more exciting public art that makes a really walkable neighborhood for us? We want it to be a place that people are not just zipping by on the light rail. We want them to stop. We want them to step out of that train and to walk around the neighborhood. And the more arts that we bring here, the more that that'll actually become achievable for us. The other things that we have to look at are, you know, the things that we heard about today. We want to look at how we make our facility as sustainable as possible. How do we tap into this green energy? How do we use this district systems? And of course, that costs money. And so we are going to be looking at how we can be really creative and resourceful in implementing into our future designs how to really become that symbol of what great innovation it can be for an arts organization. And so I do think that there are other issues like parking. Many of our patrons are older women who prefer to drive and want a place to park. We have a lot of younger artists who are now participating with us who take the train. But looking at district parking systems, I think that's going to be important. And most of all, what we would like to see is that when there's a Super Bowl in town, that people will leave downtown and actually come out to this area to say, we had to check out this neighborhood because of the arts organizations that are based here, because of the public art, and because of the amenities with the green spaces. So Textile Center is very committed to being part of the Towerside Innovation District. It's easy to think we need more space. Oh, we can go out to a strip mall out in the suburbs because there's now space, because retail is suffering, and there's a lot of retail space with a lot of ample parking out there. But it would not be core to who we are as an arts organization. We are all about innovation. We're all about that excellence in arts, and we want to be near the universities, and we really want to tie into our business partners like Target or individual makers who can find a place to build their businesses. So there are a lot of creative entrepreneurs in fiber arts. So I think that, you know, the real future of what we can accomplish at Textile Center will be really central to also how we tie in as a partner in the Towerside Innovation District. Thank you.